Aiden sat nervously across from the council members, his palms pressed against his knees, keeping his posture as respectful as possible. The sharp, reptilian eyes of the Talon elders flicked over him with little interest, their scales shimmering. Under the cold light of the chamber, the Talons, proud apex hunters, measured everything by strength. Strength to climb, strength to strike, strength to dominate. To be weak was to be nothing. Across from Aiden, tall Talon adjudicator named Varen was leaning forward, his frill unfurled in a display of barely contained anger. His voice was a growl, the air vibrating with tension. You understand that? Daros is a failure, human, he said. His words cut through the silence like a blade. Born with twisted talons, incapable of scaling the walls like the rest of us, he cannot hunt. He cannot thrive. He will never be a true Talon. Aiden's heart pounded in his chest, but he remained calm. His journey had led him here this far through trials and tests. He had learned the Talon ways, earned his place, and was determined to help Daros, the injured hatchling, even if it meant defying their cold traditions. I understand, Aiden said, his voice steady. But Daros deserves a chance. When can he be brought to me? Varen's frill flared a brilliant red, his eyes narrowing with disbelief. You ask for a broken hatchling, a disgrace, a burden. The weak do not belong in the Talon ranks. Human. What could you possibly offer him? Aiden's eyes softened, but his resolve only grew stronger. I will offer him something he has never had. The chance to live. To be more than just his flaws. On the transport ship, Daros sat motionless, his small body wrapped in a blanket. His wide eyes fixed on the stars outside the window, his frill was pressed flat against his skull, a sign of anxiety. His once lively eyes now dull with the weight of years spent in solitude. Aiden kept his distance, knowing how important it was to give the hatchling room to breathe. Daros had been abandoned. By his clutch during an evacuation, after a devastating attack. Left to fend for himself, he learned that Talons those who couldn't climb, couldn't hunt, were disposable. But Aiden wasn't here to let him become another lost cause. You're safe now, Aiden said softly, his voice reassuring. Different here, I won't leave you. Daros didn't respond, his gaze fixed on the emptiness beyond the ship's hull. He was used to silence. He was used to being alone. Aiden didn't force the conversation. Instead, he projected images from Earth, a bustling market. A family laughing around a dinner table, children running through fields of flowers. It wasn't much, but it was all Aiden could offer. This is my home, he said quietly. Humans are not like the Talons. We don't have claws or the ability to scale walls, but we build. We create. We adapt. Daros's frill shifted slightly, the first sign of recognition, but still, no words came. Aiden didn't mind. He knew healing took time. Over the next few days, Aiden kept his distance, watching as Daros began to slowly settle in. He didn't speak much, only responding with subtle gestures or quiet glances. Aiden had designed a living space with Daros in mind, something that would make him feel safe, something that would help him heal. A sleeping ledge near the window, a quiet corner away from the hustle of the ship, with low platforms that resembled the walls of a Talon nest. Aiden had carefully studied Talon physiology. He knew that Daros's short, twisted talons prevented him from climbing or securing himself. The hatchling's instinct was to jump, to attempt what his species did naturally. But every time Daros would slip, crashing down to the floor in frustration. One day Daros attempted again. He scrambled towards the low platforms, his legs tense, and his frill flaring in a mix of determination and fear. But as always, his talons failed him. He slipped, falling to the floor with a sharp cry of pain. Aiden reacted without thinking. He moved to help, but then paused, letting Daros make the choice. The hatchling crawled away, his tail tucked tightly. Between his legs, eyes downcast. His frill flushed a dark violet, the color of humiliation. Aiden's heart ached. He understood what it was like to feel weak, to be rejected by those who valued only strength. But he wasn't going to give up on Daros. He wasn't going to let him be defined by his failure. That night, Aiden worked in the fabrication bay, carefully designing a new solution. He researched Talon growth patterns, measuring the angles at which Daros's talons could hold safely, and the exact height he could scale without stress. The solution wasn't complicated. A series of low platforms, each wide enough for Daros to climb slowly at his own pace. Textured pads that would grip like stone, but softer. A gentle incline with a guide rail, not a cage, just support. The next day he installed it. He didn't say a word, just stepped back, allowing Daros to explore. The hatchling emerged from his quarters, his amber eyes wide with uncertainty. "It's for you," Aiden said softly. "You don't have to jump. You can go up like this." Daros stared at the platforms, his frill trembling. He approached cautiously, testing the first platform with his foot. His talons gripped, and he didn't slip. Hesitant, he placed the second foot down, then the third. His movements grew more confident, more fluid. With each step, his confidence grew, and his breathing steadied. He climbed higher, his body tensing and releasing with each success. Finally, Daros reached the top. He stood there, chest lifted, his eyes wide with disbelief. His frill burst into gold and cyan, the Talon sign of joy. He spun in a circle, the first time he'd done something purely out of happiness. Then he turned to Aiden, his voice barely a whisper. "Thank you," Aiden smiled, the weight of his journey lifting. "You did it, Daros, you made it." The next morning, news of Daros's success spread quickly. Aiden received a message from the ship's captain, his voice laced with disbelief. "Lieutenant, your design is causing quite a stir. The Talon Council wants your specifications. Families are asking for alternatives for their own children. They want to know if we can support more guardianships like this." Aiden's pulse quickened. He thought of Daros, now sleeping peacefully in his new space, no longer afraid of being abandoned. "Yes," Aiden said firmly. "Send them everything. We'll take as many as we can." That night, as Aiden watched Daros sleep peacefully, his frill relaxed and calm, Aiden realized something simple. Humans weren't the strongest species, nor the fastest or the most fearsome, but they had a gift. They could see the worth in the broken, the discarded, and say, "You are not the problem. The world around you needs to change." And with that thought, Aiden knew he had found his purpose. He had not only helped Daros climb the physical heights, but had shown him how to rise above the shame of his past. Together they would change the stars.